Hey, Dan. So here is a comprehensive update of the rectory, which you've been asking for. So we'll start with the bathroom. We've gotten all of the plumbing in. You can see the waste plumbing. That is the shower. These are actually the vents, not actually. These are the vents. So this vent vents the shower drain. This vent actually comes there, up through, up there to the left of the kitchen sink. I'll show you when we get downstairs. And that's going to vent the kitchen sink, and it's going to vent the utility sink in the basement. And I'll show you how we tied those in. And then the incoming water, you can see, is here. That's for the vanity, that's for the toilet, and that's for the shower. So those are all stubbed in, roughed in, and you can see we've got caps on those. So we pressure tested them. There's no leaks, which is great. We just got this glass block window. We just caulked it in today. So we can now cement board this whole area, get it ready for tiling. The first thing we do is we put the shower down, the shower pan, so we'll do that. And then we'll get this in. And then eventually what we'll do is this will be cement board out, and then we'll tile all of that. So that'll look, I think, pretty good. We'll be really happy with that. So that's the bathroom. Let's go downstairs. Oh, look, I've got a helper. Did you find the drip?
Yeah, it was the laundry sink.
Okay, that's good.
I turned it off more so it's dripping less.
Okay. So in the kitchen, I was talking about that vent, and you can see the vent for the kitchen sink is right there. It's going to eventually go through here. It'll tie into the kitchen sink under there. So that gets vented up, and then the utility sink, I'll show you when we get downstairs, that comes up here. They get tied in right there, and they go up through the ceiling together. So this whole area is now ready to receive cabinets. And yeah, really happy about that. And that's going to be good to go. All of this whole area that looks unfinished, there's all going to be cabinets or stainless steel or range hoods, all there. The soffit turned out really well, turned out really nicely, which is the vent for the range hood. And in the basement, we've got, that is, the valves are off, but we pressure tested them, so we know that they are good. And then the vent for the kitchen, for the utility sink, what I did is I added that little stub that goes up there. It goes up this wall here, up, and ties in upstairs. So that's pretty much what we've been working on. That's I guess that's everything. I guess from, oh, and now we need to work on the electrical. So that's next. So once we get all of that finished, really getting the floor in up in the bathroom, then we'll actually run the electrical and get that done. The electrical's already done in the kitchen. So I do have a quick add to this video. Maybe it's not so quick. It's a beautiful day here. It's almost 60 degrees. I'm sitting out on the back porch in my shirt sleeves making this video. Very, very pleasant. But that's not what I came to tell you about. So Preston and I were just finishing this morning working, And we were out front, and I see this guy come riding down the street on his bike, and I hear him say, "Hey, Preston," and he stops his bike. Turns out this is a guy named Josh. He's maybe about 40 years old, and Preston's been disc golfing with him or with groups of people, including him, for the last 3 years. So I go up, introduce myself, and we get to talking, and he says, "Yeah, my parents live next door here," and that's that house where, obviously, right next door to the rectory. And it's like, "Oh, that's really cool." I said, "Are they in Arizona right now?" I thought they were somewhere south. He said, "No, they're in Puerto Vallarta. They go there every year for 6 months." And it's like, "Oh man, that is so cool. I love Vallarta. We love going there. I can't wait for them to get back." And I can talk to them about that. I know they're going to be back in a couple of weeks. And he said, "Yeah, growing up in this house, the house next door," he said, when I was living here, growing up here, when I was a kid, my grandparents lived in this house, meaning the rectory. Oh, and I said, "No, what's your parents' names?" He said, "Dennis and Kathy." It's like, "Okay, Dennis and Kathy, that's cool." So then he said, "Yeah, I grew up in this house," and he said, "But my grandparents, when I was growing up, my grandparents lived in this house that you guys are now working on." And it's like, I stopped, and it's like, "Josh, what's your grandparents' last name?" He said, "Brooks." And it's like, "Holy crap, you're kidding me. And your mom's Kathy Brooks." And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "We found this note in the wall." And of course I started telling him all about this note, and I showed it to him, and he was like, "Man, that is the coolest thing." I said, 55 years ago, your mom put this note on the wall. Now she lives next door. I said, "I cannot wait for her to come home from Mexico so that I can tell her all about this and show it to her and have her over and look at the house." And anyway, it was a really cool thing that made me, as I came home and I told Beth about it, she said, "Yep, this is exactly the kind of thing that you love about living in Winona." And it really is. So, it's cool. So I can't wait. Like I said, I can't wait for Kathy to come home. Really excited to tell her. Okay. So now I'm done. From the rectory, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.